Guo Wengui's arrest in the fraud case is one of the biggest contemporary international crime stories and exciting news that raises questions about the rapid rise of Chinese billionaires in the US. Over time, the subject becomes quite curious, with the unfolding of multiple secrets and underlying facts, mainly in relation to its national and international connections. Chinese billionaire Guo Wengui, an exiled businessman and high-profile Beijing critic with ties to former Trump advisor Steve Bannon, has been charged with fraud after the US government seized $634 million related to his alleged crimes. Guo, also known as Ho Wan Kwok and Miles Guo, was refused his initial bail by a federal judge after Guo agreed to his detention. Guo, a staunch critic of the Chinese government in exile in Manhattan, was detained in New York, who is accused of defrauding or misappropriating investors' money using various schemes. The big projects include his media company GTV Media Group, an agricultural loan program through the Himalaya Farm Alliance, and a cryptocurrency called Himalaya Coin. This shows the scale of fraudulent schemes and their impact on investors. Prosecutors said that instead of using the money as he promised potential investors, Guo diverted the funds to be invested in a hedge fund to benefit GTV and a relative to cover maintenance fees for his $37 million, 145-foot luxury yacht, New Jersey mansion, and a purpose-built, $4.4 million Bugatti sports car.
Arrested by FBI agents in his luxury suite at the Sherry Netherland Hotel in Manhattan, Guo was later brought before a judge in connection with an alleged billion-dollar fraud. But first, in a strange turn of events, on the 18th floor of the Sherry Netherland Hotel, one of Manhattan's two-story apartment hotels overlooking Central Park where Guo lives, a fire broke out with 2 alarms. The New York City Fire Department is investigating the fire. A few hours later, firefighters extinguished a smoky blaze, which is not yet clear if the fire was at his home or related to his arrest. A few hours after Guo's arrest, the fire department issued 2 fire alarms. Several fire engines and a police department bomb squad vehicle were parked in front of the hotel. The FBI agents conducting the search of Guo's residence were due to return to continue their work after firefighters determined she was safe, said a person familiar with the matter, who spoke on condition of anonymity, because it was not public. The hotel lobby, next to the famous Harry Cipriani restaurant, was packed with federal agents, first responders and fire investigators. The firefighter, who did not identify himself, said no one was hurt. Fire department spokesman Jim Long said that the fire was reported at 12:02 p.m. because smoke was coming from the outlet and was brought under control by 2 p.m.
Sherry Netherland was the site of a much more serious fire in 1927, which the New York Times described as turning the hotel into a blazing torch, just months after it opened. Manhattan U.S. Attorney Damian Williams mentioned in a statement that Guo and his financial advisor, Qin Mingjia, were charged with conspiracy, wire and securities fraud, and money laundering in a detailed 38-page indictment. Prosecutors alleged that Guo Wengui conspired to defraud thousands of victims out of more than $1 billion, using a series of complex fraudulent and fictitious businesses and investment opportunities. According to the indictment, the two used more than $300 million in proceeds to benefit themselves and their families. Among the loot the government listed are a $26.5 million New Jersey mansion for Guo and his family, a $37 million yacht, a $3.5 million Ferrari, and a $35,000 pair of mattresses. U.S. prosecutors are revealing the secrets of a massive scam, stating that the indictment stemmed from a complex scheme in which Guo lied to hundreds of thousands of online followers in the U.S. and around the world before embezzled hundreds of millions of dollars. During an arraignment in Manhattan federal court, Guo pleaded not guilty through his attorney, while one of his attorneys did not immediately comment. Guo was once considered one of the richest men in China. He left in 2014 during an anti-corruption crackdown led by President Xi Jinping that ensnared people close to Guo, including a top intelligence official. Chinese authorities accused Guo of rape, kidnapping, bribery and other crimes.
Guo, a harsh critic of the Chinese Communist Party, was known for making political corruption claims against high party officials, including on YouTube and Twitter. Living in exile in the United States since 2015, He saw his assets in China and Hong Kong frozen as a result of investigations into his finances. In 2017, he sought political asylum in the U.S. after the regime tried to arrest him through Interpol. While living in New York as a fugitive, he became an outspoken critic of the ruling Communist Party and developed a close relationship with President Donald Trump's former political strategist Bannon. Guo and Bannon announced a joint initiative in 2020 to overthrow the Chinese government. Guo has long argued that the charges against him in China were false, claiming they were intended to punish him for publicly exposing corruption and criticizing leading figures in the Communist Party. For years, his case has been debated over whether China is abusing international law enforcement cooperation, including Interpol, in its pursuit of his arrest. He sought political asylum in the U.S., saying he feared that if he was forced to leave the country, it could lead to his arrest in a country less powerful to resist Chinese demands. The 54-year-old businessman, an associate of Bannon, has long been the subject of legal disputes. In 2020, Trump fundraiser Elliot Brady pleaded guilty to illegally lobbying the Trump White House to extradite Guo and suppress an investigation into 1MDB, a Malaysian fund at the center of a worldwide corruption scandal. Trump later pardoned Brady. Bannon, the chief strategist of Trump's victorious 2016 presidential campaign, was aboard Guo's yacht in 2020 when he was arrested for fraud in connection with a nonprofit group that was collecting private donations to build a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border. Bannon, who was pardoned by Trump on federal charges, continues to face related charges in a New York state court and pleads not guilty. Guo co-founded two nonprofit organizations, the Rule of Law Foundation and the Rule of Law Society, which prosecutors said he used to attract supporters who believed in many of his ideas. These nonprofit organizations were affiliated with a group promoting the theory that the new coronavirus was likely created in a Chinese laboratory. Rule of Law organizations were co-founded by Guo and Bannon.
Bannon was not charged in the case. Bannon was arrested in 2020 on Guo's yacht on charges of unrelated fraud involving fundraising for the border wall. Bannon was pardoned by Trump, but faced similar state charges. Bannon pleaded not guilty. It was on a 45-meter yacht that Guo Bannon was once arrested on federal charges. Just before leaving office, Trump settled the case against Bannon with a pardon.
Prosecutors said that in 2020, Guo mobilized his supporters to protest outside a Canadian journalist's home, leading to a physical assault on one of the journalist's friends, who was kicked in the head, suffering a facial fracture. After the emergence of the subject at the international level, people and analysts have different views on the subject. The opposition considers that this is a scandal developed to defame the previous government, while many analysts consider it a deep-rooted hoax with links to major national and international players. As the case progresses, it is hoped that the big secrets will be revealed, bringing more clarity to its multiple aspects.
Thanks for watching ThinkTown One channel. Please click the bell icon and subscribe to our channel to receive timely exclusive videos on important topics.